Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to EnggAdda. So today we are going to discuss what is Splunk and how we can integrate Splunk in our Spring Boot application. So Splunk is used for the monitoring of the logs that we generate in our Spring Boot application. Okay, so how we can integrate Splunk to track all those logs in Splunk dashboard, I will tell you in this video. So first of all, let me try to brief you about this Splunk, and after that, we'll try to go to the practical implementation of the Splunk with Spring Boot. So let me go to the next slide and tell you what, why, and how we can use Splunk. So let me go to the next slide. So what is Splunk? Splunk is nothing but it is a software platform widely used for monitoring, searching, analyzing, and visualizing the machine generated data in real time. So machine generated data is nothing but it is our Spring Boot generated logs that will transfer to the Splunk, and then Splunk will try to monitor those logs, search it, analyze it, and visualize it. It performs capturing, indexing, and correlating the real-time data in searchable container and produces the graphs, alerts, dashboard, and visualization. So it will make your work very easy. It will try to analyze your logs and then try to produce some indexes. It will try to figure out or carry out a correlations of the real-time data that you send to the Splunk in a searchable container and produces the graphs, alerts, okay, and dashboards, visual effects. So it will try to show you those results in a very effective way. So Splunk provides easy to access data over the whole organization for easy diagnostic and solutions to the various business problems. So that is why we are using Splunk in our production. So let me go to the next slide and tell you why we are using Splunk. So there are some common benefit of using Splunk. Let me try to tell you. So Splunk offers enhanced GUI and the real-time visibility in the dashboard. Okay, so it will provide you one graphical user interface and it will try to show you your logs in the form of GUI so that it will be very much effective. Okay, it reduces the troubleshooting and resolving time by offering the instant result. Okay, it is the best suited tool for the root cause analysis. So there is a problem in your application is down because of some error. So how you can analyze your root cause? So try to so you, whatever logs you will try to send to the Splunk, based upon those logs it will try to tell you why the error is there. Okay, so Splunk allow you to generate graphs, alerts, and dashboard. You can easily search and investigate a specific result using Splunk. So it will try to provide you some indexes. Based upon that you can track your logs. It allow you to troubleshoot any condition of failure for improved performance. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. And these are the main phases of Splunk, how Splunk is working. So there is a forwarder, indexer, and the search head. So forwarder will try to collect your logs from the application, backend application. Indexer will try to index it on the disk, and then search head where the user interacts and try to search your logs. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. So how it is working. So there is a three-part forwarder, indexer, and search head. Forwarder collects the data from the remote machines, then forwards that data to the index in real time. That is what I told you. Indexer process the incoming data in the real time. It stores and index the data on the disk. So based upon that index, you can search your data using the search head. So Indexer interact with the Splunk through search head. It allows users to do search, analysis, and visualization. So this is about the basic of Splunk. Now let me go to the IntelliJ and then try to create one Spring Boot CRUD project. And I will also tell you how you can integrate your Spring Boot project with the Splunk. So before going to this IntelliJ, let me try to go to the browser and try to log into the Splunk and download Splunk and then show you how you can set up your Splunk on your local. So let me go to the browser. So here you can come and you can search for the Splunk. Okay, and go to the Splunk first site. Now you can see this is the site of a Splunk. You can go through it and see what it provides. Okay, so you need to go to the product. and here you can see we have the Splunk Enterprise. So we are going to use it for our work. So go to the Splunk Enterprise. Now you can go for the free trial. So go to the free trial. Here you need to provide your all details like email ID, password, and your username, okay, phone number and all. Once you will provide it, it will try to give you the access of your Splunk application. So you can download it and run it locally. So let me try to do it for you. So you can go for this. So let me try to provide my business email. Okay. Let me try to provide the password. Now let me go to the next slide. Okay. Okay. And you need to provide your phone number, company and all. So you can do it, and then what you need to do, you have to agree on it and then create your account. So for now, what I will do, I will provide my phone number, company and everything, and then after that I will try to show you. So you can see we have provided all the details, and then click on the agree, and then now you can see this page has come up. So if you're using window, you can go there and then download it. So once you will click on the download, it will start downloading your Splunk. Okay. So you can see here it is started downloading. Okay, so wait for the download. Once it is downloaded, then you can install it. So whatever username and the password you have provided while creating the form, the same password you have to use while installing it. So I already have installed it, so I'm just going to stop it now. So let me try to open the Splunk here. So it will look like this once you install it. Okay, so let me open it. I already have logged in, so that is why it is not asking me to log in. So whatever username and the password you have provided at the time of creating the form, the same password you need to provide here while logging, and the username for the login will be admin. Okay, now you can see this is the dashboard of the Splunk, and here we'll try to transfer our logs. So what you need to do? So first of all, you need to go to the setting. Okay, and then here you can see there is a option called data inputs. So you need to go there, and you can see there is a lot of options. So we are going to use this HTTP event collector to receive the data over HTTP or HTTPS. So we are going to use it. So click on it. I already have created these two indexes, but I will also tell you how you can create for your own. So you can go to the new token. First of all, let me try to go to the global setting and see if everything is okay. So in global setting, you should be seeing all these options. So all tokens should be enabled. Default source type should be JSON. Default index is main, and you can see this is the port number where our log will be being generated. Or whenever we are going to send our log from the Spring Boot, it will go to this server, to this port number. Okay, so you have to remember this. So let me try to go to the save. So let me save this. Now let me go to the new token and then try to create a token. So here you need to provide the token name. So let's say my token name is Spring Splunk demo. Okay, and you can provide your source name. So let's say the source name is source name only. Source name. Okay, you can. Okay, let me try to provide the underscore here. Okay, let's say the source name is source name. Okay, now you can provide the description. It is optional. Okay, so we are good. Let me try to enable the indexer acknowledgement. Okay, and then you need to go to the next. Now here you could see you have to create one index, and let me try to create that. So you can see I already have couple of indexes which I already have created. Now let me create one new index. Let's say the index name is uh, let's say Spring Boot Splunk demo. Okay, and you have to create this is not the right naming convention. Let me try to create the index. So let's say the index name is Spring underscore Splunk, and this index is going to point for the development environment. So similarly, you can create multiple indexes based upon your environments. You have let's say development environment, QA environment, UAT, and production. So similarly, for all of the environment, you can create the respective indexes so that you can log the respective environments. Okay, so let's say Spring Splunk. Okay, let me try to provide like this. This is for dev, let's say. Okay, okay, demo, something like that. Let me try to recreate it. Spring underscore dev, something like that. Not taking up. Spring dev. Okay, and here you can see you have the home path, code path, and these are the optional, right? So let it not touch. And now let me try to, so our index name is Spring dev. Now let me try to save it. Okay, so you can see we have the index here in our label items, so you can select it. Now let me come here and select the source type. So we need to select one source type where we are going to log our data. So let's say I'm going to use the Log4j. Similarly, you can use the SL4j and other logging tools. So I'm going to use the Log4j here. So here in the source type, I'm going to select the Log4j. Okay, so whatever logging tool you are going to use, you need to select here in the source type. So I'm going to use the Log4j to log our Spring Boot logs. So that is why I'm selecting the source type as a Log4j. So just type the Log4j and just select it. Okay. So what we did, we created one index and now we are selecting the source type. Now you can go to the review and here you can see we have all those data. Okay. So let me try to copy it so that we can when we are going to create the XML file to integrate our Spring Boot application to the Splunk, we need all this data. What is the token? What is the name of your token? What is the source type? Okay, what is the index? So everything you need. So that is why let me try to copy all this data. So let me try to copy this and go to a notepad and just paste it out here. Okay, it is not taking up. Let me copy. So the name is Splunk, Spring Splunk demo. Okay, and what about others? So source name is source name. Okay, source name. Okay, let me try to copy it. So go to the Splunk. Source name is this. Copy it. Come here and just keep it here. Now let me try to go again. Okay, and we need this source type as a log4j and index is Spring dev. Okay, so source type is log4j and index is, let me try to copy that. Go to the browser. Index is Spring dev. So we need to have this data handy so that we can configure our XML file. So other required items I will try to copy from the token that we'll create. So let me try to submit it now. Okay, so we are good. You can see token has been created successfully. Okay, so now let me go to the start searching. So you can see here the Splunk has provided the query with which you can search your logs. So you need to provide the source name, you have to provide the indexes, source type, and then your logs will come here. Okay, so let me try to go to the Splunk Enterprise and let me try to go to the setting, data inputs, and let it open. Go to the HTTP event controller, and here we could see our token. So we have created this Spring Splunk demo token. Okay, and our index name is this. We have the token value. Okay, and the source type is log4j, and we have the source name as well and the token name. Okay, so everything is there, and I also noted it down. So this is how you can create your token and indexes in Splunk. So now what we'll do, we'll try to create the Spring Boot CRUD project. Okay, so if you don't know how to create the Spring Boot CRUD project, you can watch out the videos on my channel. I already have covered this in one video. So I'm not going to create the Spring Boot CRUD project in front of you. If you don't know how to create, you can go and watch out that video and then create the Spring Boot CRUD project. Now what I will do, I will try to integrate our Splunk there in our Spring Boot project. Okay. So for that I have created this Spring Boot project. So let me go to the IntelliJ, and this is the product project. Okay. So here we are simply doing the CRUD operations. So let me go to the product controller, and you can see we have developed the git mapping, which is finding all the product, git mapping, which is finding the product by ID, post, put, and delete. Okay, so let me try to run this application and then try to hit one endpoint to show you that this application is up and working fine. So I already have inserted couple of record in the product table. So let me try to fetch it out. So our class level mapping is API products, and I'm going to hit this find all git mapping. So let me go to the postman, and then this is the URL. Okay, now let me try to send it. Our application is up on the port number 9000. Okay, and let me try to show you the application properties file. So here you can see I have did the configuration for my database connectivity, and you can see this is the URL. Okay, and these are the root, these are the username and password, and this is the port number on which our application is up. So this is about the Spring Boot CRUD project. Now what I will do, I will try to integrate couple of dependency here for this Splunk. Okay, so for logging, what we are doing, we are going to log our application logs using log4j. Okay, so for that I need to include the log4j in our pom.xml file, and we need to exclude the default logging which is done by the Spring Boot. Okay, so let me go to the pom.xml, and let me go down. So here you can see in the starter web we have the default logging which is provided by the Spring Boot. We need to exclude that, and then we need to include the log4j for our logging. So let me go to the browser and then let me search for it. Exclude Spring Boot logging from Spring Web Maven, something like that. Okay, let me try to put it here. Okay, so let me try to copy this code and then come to IntelliJ and come to the pom.xml file and come to the Spring Boot starter web, and inside this dependency you need to put the exclusion code. So this will exclude your uh, Spring Boot starter logging. Okay, so let me try to run the Maven here. Okay, so it will resolve all the dependencies. Okay, I think it is fine. Now let me try to include the log4j dependency. So go to the browser, search for log4j starter mvn. Okay, go to the Maven repository and go for the first one. Okay, let me try to copy this. Come to the IntelliJ. Okay, go down. Let me try to paste it here. Okay, let me try to remove the version. Okay, and let me try to run the Maven. Okay, could not find the artifact Spring Boot starter log4j. Okay, so we need to include the log4j too, I think. Yeah, so let me try to include the log4j too. Let me try to run the Maven here. Okay, so I think it has downloaded our log4j2 dependency. Okay, so everything is on sync. Now what I will do, I will try to write some logs. Okay, so using that we'll try to track our logs. So let me go to the product service, and let me try to do logging here. So let's say I'm going to log for the first method that we have created, which is finding all the product from the DB. Okay, so for that let me try to create the logger object here. So logger. Okay, scroll to log manager dot get logger, and you need to put the class name. Okay, so let me try to import this logger. Okay, so here you can see this is importing from the log4j. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me try to use this logger. Come here, and then let me try to log some information here. So log.info. Okay, and then let's say we are starting the execution of find all method in service. Okay, and let me try to copy this, and let me try to log some other thing as well. So here what we are doing, we are simply finding out all the product from the database and then simply returning it. Okay, so now let me try to create one object here so that we can store all the record here, and then we'll return that list. Okay, so for that let me try to create one list of products, and let's say it is products or product list, something like that. And now let me try to return that product list. Okay, and what I'm going to do, why we are creating this product list, because I'm going to log this. Okay, so let me copy this, and let me try to cut this logger from here, paste it here, and then let me try to log the product list as well. Okay, so we are good now. Okay, so what we did, we created the logger object. Okay, and what we are doing, we are just logging the information, and we are covering the logs for only one method, which is finding all. And then what we had did, we provided the log information, and we have written this. We are starting the execution of find all in service, and then let me try to change this. What we did, fetched the product list from DB in service. Okay, and then just simply logging the product list. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me go to the controller as well and then try to log something here as well, and then we'll try to hit the API and then see how it is working. So let me try to create the logger object here. Okay, so we are not using the log factory, we are using the log manager. Okay, dot get logger, and then here we need to provide the class name. So copy this dot class. Okay, so we are good. Now let me try to import this logger. So these are coming from the log4j. Okay, we are good. Now let me copy this logger and then do some logging here for the find all. So right now we are just covering one method or one API, and then later on we'll try to cover everything. So let me try to log here. Started hitting the find all API from controller. Okay, and let me try to create the list here which is holding all the value which is coming from the service. So list of product list, and storing it here, and then let me try to log that as well. So fetched all product from service in controller. Okay, and then let me try to log the product list as well. So copy it, come here, and then provide it. Now let me try to return the list of product from this method. So it is product list. So we are good now. Now let me try to make this application up and try to hit the first API and then see how the log is generated here in IntelliJ. Okay, and then we'll try to integrate the Splunk in our project and then try to see all those log in Splunk. So yeah, our application is up on the port number 9000. Now go to the Postman and then try to hit this API. So let me go to the IntelliJ, and here you can see we are able to see the logs as well as the payload as well. Okay, so you can see it started hitting the find all API from the controller. We are starting the execution of find all in service. Fetch the product list from DB in service. Fetch all the product from the service in controller. So you can see, first of all, we are hitting this API, so we are logging this information. Then it is going inside the service. Okay, and then from service, you can see we are logging this information, and then this information, and then going back to the API. Sorry. So first of all, when we are in the get mapping, when we are trying to hit this API, we are logging this information, and then we are going inside the product service. Let me go there, and then logging this information. You can see we are starting the execution of find all method in service. You can see first of all this is coming from controller, this is coming from the service, and then we are fetching out the data from the database in service. So you can see this log, and here is our data. Okay, and then going back to the controller and then logging this information. Okay, so this is how the log is generated. So our logger is working fine. What I will do, I will try to integrate the Splunk in our project and then try to see those logs there using the indexes that we have created. So how we can integrate Splunk here? So let me go to the pom.xml we need to include couple of dependency for that. So first of all, I need to include the Splunk repository. So let me try to go to the browser and search for the Splunk repository. Splunk repository in Spring Maven. Okay, okay, let me go to this, go down, and let me try to copy this repository. Okay, I will provide the link of this whole project in the description of this video. Okay, so I will push this project on the GitHub, and I will provide the link of the link of the GitHub, and you from there you can find out the all these dependencies. So you don't need to go to the browser and search for it. You can directly go to the GitHub page, and then from there you can copy it and then use it. So let me go to the IntelliJ and come down here. Okay, let me try to cut it from here. Let me go below the properties, put it here. Let me try to run the Maven so that it can include our Splunk repository. Okay, I think we are good. Now we need to include one another dependency as well, which is Splunk logging. So let me try to go to the browser and search for that. Okay, so Splunk logging MVN package, something like that. Go to the repository, Maven repository, go for Splunk logging, and let me go to the Spring Live M2. I'm going to use this 1.8.0 version because it was working for me. So let me try to use it and copy this. Now let me go to the IntelliJ, go to the dependencies, and let me try to put it here. Okay, let me try to go to the browser, copy this again, IntelliJ, and then just put it here. Let me try to run the Maven so that it can include all the dependencies. So once it is done, what we need to do, we need to create one Spring Splunk logging configuration. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one XML file, and there will provide all the logging informations which will integrate our Spring Boot project with the Splunk. So let me try to go to the resource and then create one XML file here. So how you can create it, go to the file, and then let me try to name the file as log4j to spring.xml. Okay, so what all the configuration you need to provide here. So I already have created a note of that. Okay, if you don't know how to create this Spring Log4j XML file, so what you can do, you can go to the browser and search for it. I already have created for you. So let me go to the notepad and then copy this. So let me try to copy it. I will provide the link of this whole project in the description of this video. So from there you can just get it. Okay. So this is the configuration you need to provide. Okay. This is the Splunk configurations. So here whatever indexes, token name, token ID we have created, we need to provide, we need to write it here. Okay. So let me go to the notepad, and here we have created all those information, right? Or if you don't have this handy, you can go to the Splunk, and then from here also you can copy it. Okay, so this is the token ID. Okay, this is the token value. Copy this, go to the IntelliJ, and then replace it with the token. Okay, now let me go to the browser. This is the name. Just copy this name, come to the IntelliJ, and okay, we are not providing the name here. Let it be. This was the port on which our log will be generated. I already have showed you. So this is the port, you need to provide it here as a URL, and it is locally upon the port number 8088. Okay. So what we did, we have provided the URL, we have provided the token, host is localhost. Now we need to provide the index. So go to the Splunk, and this is the index that we have created. So copy this, come to the IntelliJ, and then replace it. Okay, type is raw. Source name was source name, I think source space name. Let me cross check it. So it is not here. Let me try to edit this and see. Yeah, source name is source name. Copy this, come to the IntelliJ, and just paste it out here. Okay, source type was log4j. Messages format is text. So everything is okay now. So this is what you need to do. So in order to integrate the Spring Boot with your Splunk, you need to create one XML file, which is a configuration XML file, which will configure your Splunk in your Spring Boot. So you need to provide all those tokens, host name, URL, source name, everything you need to provide here. Once it is done, you are good with the integration. Now let me try to make our application up. So let it stop and then make our application up, and then what we'll do, we'll try to hit the API and then see those logs in the Splunk, not in the IntelliJ. Okay, so this time we'll try to see our logs in Splunk. So our application is up on the port number 9000. Let me go to the Postman and try to hit this API. Okay, now let me go to the IntelliJ and show you. So you can see, we can see our logs here. Okay, everything is fine. Now let me go to the browser and go to the Splunk. So here, this is the index or the token that we have created. Now we need to do one changes here. So let me go to the edit. So let me try to untick this enable indexer acknowledgement and save it. Okay. So now what we need to do, we need to go to the Spring dashboard to see our logs. So let me go to the Spring Enterprise here, and here you can see the search and reporting option. You have to go here, and then with the name of your index that you have created, you need to search it. So let me go to the IntelliJ and then see. So our index name is Spring Dev. Just copy it. Okay, now go to the Splunk, and here you need to write one query which is index equal to index name. Okay, so and then just hit enter. So you can see we are able to see our logs here. Okay, so let me try to come down and then show you. So these are multiple times I've hit my API, so that is why you are able to see these logs here. Okay, so let me try to show you those logs. So here you can see, let me go to the intelligent copy the logs. So the first log was started hitting find all API from the controller. Copy this, come to the Splunk and just find it out. Okay, so here you can see it, right? And then the second log was, and the other log, let me try to see. Okay, so here you can see the product that we fetched. This is also coming. Okay, and similarly you can see these logs, right? You can go to the IntelliJ and copy the log to find it out in the Splunk. So just let me try to copy this one. Copy this. Now come to the Splunk. Just find it out. Okay, let me try to cancel this. Control F and then see, you can see this, right? So we are able to see that our logs from the Spring Boot is now coming to the Splunk. Okay, so now let me go to the Postman and try hitting this endpoint again. Okay, so let me try to come here and then try to search for our logs again. And here you can see this log is generated at what time? 1:16 minute. And here you can see 1:17, right? So right now we hit this logs. Right now we hit the API and then we are getting the logs right now. Okay. So, and you can see these logs, right? So this is how you can integrate your Spring Boot project with Splunk to make your logging very effective and analytical. So this is how you can integrate Spring Boot with Splunk to make your logging very much effective, analytical, and very much GUI friendly, so that you can uh, keep a track of your logs. So this is about this video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content.